What's up YouTube, DPD19 back here again with another video, and we are going to be talking about negotiating on eBay and whatnot today. And basically it's kind of how to negotiate, or more focusing on how not to negotiate kind of as a seller or a buyer. So to start it off, the one thing that I hate most about like eBay or whatnot, it's a lot more prevalent on eBay, but like on eBay, you'll see people just message you and just say, what's the best you can do? And instead of just you throwing out a price, you want me to give you a price, and then 9 times out of 10, if not more, that person's gonna just offer less than whatever the the seller says. So it's like, why am I even going to tell you what a best price would be, especially if there's no offers? Why am I going to do that? And if I am going to do that, I'm going to give you my best price and I'm not moving, and I'm going to be a petty bitch. At least that's how I do things. I know some people do business similar to that on eBay, where if they give you a best price, they're like, hey, I gave you it already, and you're just going to try to undercut more no matter what. I'm not playing this game. I'm As a seller, I'm not negotiating against myself. You can fucking kiss my ass with that idea. And it's just extremely annoying. And there's times where, I'll give my best price, and sometimes people just be like, all right, cool, I'll accept it, which is great. Cool, we're in agreement. But most of the time, just someone's a dickhead and just wants to continue to go lower and lower and lower. It's like, I don't got time for this. I'm fine negotiating if you want to throw me an offer first. And that's the thing too. If someone throws me an offer first and I'm just cool with that offer, I'm not gonna nickel and dime you. I'm just gonna say, all right, cool, I can do that. You you gave me a fair ass offer, I'll accept it. Like, say if it's like $100 slab, if someone comes up and is like, hey, I'd be willing to offer $80 plus shipping or something like that. And it's like, all right, cool. 20% off, and they pay shipping. That's a fair offer. I'm not going to nickel and dime you and be like, oh, I can only do 90, unless it's something where it's like, I don't want to sell it, or if I'm not in a rush to sell it. Everything has a price. And if you come at me fair, I'm more likely to be lenient and, even give a little bit more of a discount than I would have before. Well, it depends on you approach certain people. And a lot of times when someone goes, what's your best price? They get ignored. They get ignored, or someone just barely goes down because, again, why am I going to negotiate against myself if I'm a seller? It's just stupid. And you also have buyers that try to play leverage in the sense of like, oh, I'm such a loyal customer. I've bought from you so much before. And a lot of the times, the funny thing is that is bullshit. They're just talking out of your ass, hoping you're not going to check. Because there's one guy I was going back and forth with on eBay about a couple of cards. And one card, he said, hey, can you do X price? We agreed on it. Then he wanted to go lower. And that already pissed me off. If we agree on a price, you're fucking sticking to it. We're not bundling and adding shit to get a lower price on the card we just agreed on a price on. That's not happening, and I don't play those games. I don't waste people's time. I expect the same back. So the guy starts saying, oh, I'm such a great customer of yours. And I was busy at the time. I was still working, so I didn't really check. So the next day I'm like, the fuck you mean? But I'm like, I have never seen your name buy shit. I've just seen you annoy me and message me wanting to lowball and everything for randomly once in a while every other month. So I go and check his feedback. He has like 24 feedback, whatever it is. And I don't see my name on it. Every single purchase, once it's delivered, if it's not the day of, it's usually within a week, that I'll leave feedback on every single buyer when it shows marked as delivered. Not one on that motherfucker's account. So I said, you know what? I'm going to be petty. I just block you. You're wasting my time anyways. I've spent way too much time negotiating against myself. You can kiss my ass. I don't need your money. And that's the other thing too as sellers. sellers need to know, unless you're in a dire need for money, sellers need to know when to put their foot down. Because there's so many buyers that feel entitled to your shit. They feel like you need to sell to them. You need to get their money since you've already started a conversation negotiation. Motherfucker, I don't need shit from you. If you're gonna be a pompous prick and fucking act entitled, I have no problem blocking your ass and never dealing with you again. Because odds are you weren't gonna buy my shit anyways, and if you were, not worth the headache. The people who talk the most on eBay are the biggest pains in the asses. You know who doesn't give you a headache? The people that buy shit and don't talk to you. They just want to buy it and that's it. And if people buy stuff where there's multiple shipping costs, most people already know me. I will refund you the difference after I ship it. Once I print out that label, I'll be like, all right, cool. You paid like, I don't know, 20 bucks for shipping. It only cost me like 7 or 8. All right, cool. You're going to get like 11, 12 bucks back, whatever it is. So it's like, people know that by now with me, at least the ones that deal with me consistently. And they're just the easiest people to deal with. And then there's people on eBay where I talk a lot with and I'm very friendly with. And you know, I know about their wife, their kids, their family, and we're just talking on eBay. Like you don't see that from most sellers. Most sellers are like, you gonna buy my shit or are you gonna fuck off? And you know, to those people, I'm not gonna say they're wrong. You can be like that, that's fine. I'm fine getting to know people, especially if it's like, all right, cool. If I sell shit to you, cool. If not, that's fine too. I make it very clear to people. I don't need to sell my shit, but if you want to buy from me, someone that you know you can trust, we can get a deal going. We can add stuff. We can have a conversation. Everything's negotiable as long as you come at someone the right way. Some people, they just don't want to budge, so there's no point in dealing with them. With me, if you come at me the right way, we can talk about stuff. If it's just like one like $10 single, it's like, bro, just why the fuck are you haggling? It's $10. You want to pay 8 or 9, like it's not that big of a deal. But you never know if you don't ask. And to buyers, feel free to always ask, hey, can you do, I don't know, for a $10 single, you can be like, hey, can you do $5? Maybe I haven't updated my inventory and prices in a while. Maybe I'm in need of money at that point. You never know with me or any seller. It's just how you come across to someone. Like, just be polite about it. And here's an example of what I do. As a buyer, I'll just be like, hey, I saw you had this up. You know, there's no offers. I'd be willing to offer X, Y, and Z. If not, no worries, completely understand. Simple as that. It's polite. I'm giving you the option to accept it, and if not, cool, no problem. If you want to counter, you can, but most of the time people either just say yes or no. Because most of the time if I'm going to send you just an offer, that's already my high. If it's something I really want, maybe I'll come a little higher and no one else has it. But for the most part, I'll give you my best offer from the start that I'm willing to spend at that point. And as a buyer too, if you want to lowball someone, especially now in today's world with like MetaZoo, if you want to lowball someone, you can. Doesn't mean you're going to get someone to accept it, but it doesn't hurt to offer. If it's something that you don't need and you're like, oh, hey, I'll offer 50%. I mean, you can. I'm just going to say no, most likely. And most people probably going to say no, but some people you might say yes. You never know. It's all about how you come across to somebody. And for me, the second you lied in my face, you are dead to me. I'm good. I don't need to hear you. I don't need to read a fucking another message from you. We're done here. I do the same thing in real life. The second you start lying to me, I don't want to associate with you. I don't want to deal with you. Because if I'm going to be 100% with you, don't bullshit me. Simple as that. I'm not perfect. Everybody lies and needs to lie in certain situations. But 99% of the time, There's no reason for me to lie. Even if it's hard to tell the truth. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna be honest. And a lot of times I'm too honest, especially on eBay. Here, anywhere. On eBay, I'm too honest in certain situations where I'm like, hey, I actually do need the money this week. I'll take X, this number. They can always try to take advantage of it, but for the most part, they don't. And I'll explain situations, or I'll be like, hey, I just can't do this. Like, I paid $50 for this card. I need to sell it at least 60 to break even. Does that do the math? Yeah, 60 plus shipping would break even about for a $50 card. Stuff like that. I'm transparent with shit like that. And I feel like that's how more sellers should be, and I feel like more buyers should be more courteous, because if you just send me a number too, it's like, all right, no thanks, appreciate the offer, but no. And then you get people where you might counter offer them, and they'll be like, just be a dickhead in response. Like, hey, I can do this. If not, no worries. And let you be like, no. Like, all right, bitch, damn. You could have just said, no, thank you. Nah, that's too high for me. You just one-word responses. Fuck you then. Like, goddamn. It don't take more than a second or two more to not be a dickhead. And that's how you get a reputation as a buyer or seller very quickly. And if you see your feedback slow and you send offers on a lot of stuff and you don't buy much, that's you. That's on you. Either you're cheap and don't want to spend money, which is fine, you don't need to, or you're a dickhead and a lot of people you rode the wrong way, so they don't want to sell to you. I've had clients before, clients or friends that tried to buy from me off eBay, and one guy was like, yeah, you've talked to me the most out of everyone else. Most people just block me. And then a day or two later, I figured out why, because he just refuses to negotiate whatsoever. And it's like, all right, I told you what my price is. Don't bother me 5, 6, 7 times with the same fucking card with the same fucking price. I ain't changing my mind. Fuck off. Be like, hey, this card's the same card sold for this price in auction. That's nice. Got nothing to do with me and the price that I said I wanted. That person got a great deal. Cool, good for them. You should have bought their card. Fucking don't come back to me wanting something else. Like, I love it when people, as a buyer, be like, hey, this is what the last auction went for. Like, I'm not paying more than that. Okay, you don't need to. You should have gotten that auction. And that's one thing a lot of people get confused of. Oh, this is market prices auctions. Bullshit. The amount of times that I've had friends that be like, oh, I would have, bid another $100 on this card if I didn't forget. But people just be like, oh, this is market price. No, there's people that would most likely have paid more that just either didn't have money or didn't see the listing ever, or they missed it by a little bit. People don't want to take context into any fucking sales, though. That's how they act. And you can show me an auction one for this price, but if the nearest buy it now isn't even isn't even, I don't know, like say an auction went for 40 and the last buy it now sale was 80 and the low list is 100. Why the fuck am I going to sell to you for 40? Why would I do that? At least try to meet me closer to 80 if you want to put weight onto the auctions. Like, you should try to meet in the middle, not, oh, it's 40, that's it. If that's the price that you wanted to pay, you should have looked at that fucking auction now, shouldn't you have? So, yeah, it's just etiquette between sellers and buyers, and there's just so many pet peeves of mine. I probably missed some from the buyer side, from the seller side. But let me know in the comments, guys, if there's anything as a seller that annoys the fuck out of you on eBay when people are trying to negotiate, or on Whatnot, either of those platforms. TCG Player is great because there's not really a negotiating aspect, because as far as I know, you can't message a seller for shit unless you buy something from them, which is kind of good. Sucks for, negotiating a price, but that's how the platform is. And let me know too from a buyer's end. Have you been on the reception of a dickhead seller where they just don't respond? Are you the type that just goes, oh, what's the best you can do? Let me know what your thought process is on that and how you feel. Simple as that. I can see both sides of the spectrum. You know, neither person wants to throw out a number, but it's like somebody's got to fucking start. And as a buyer, if you have a best number in mind, cool, throw it out. If you don't, or don't want to give it, give a lower number, and then you can always work your way up. As a seller, I have no benefit to give you a number, because most of the time you're gonna want to fucking lower me down anyways. So that's just my perspective on it. Y'all let me know what you think. I appreciate y'all watching. Catch you guys later. Peace.